Own Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
Best 60 minutes of your day. It won't be as good as it normally is on Tuesdays because John Anderson is on assignment. Jason Wilde will be on. What time is he on? Like 5:15?
5:15.
Yeah, I just want calls. 1-800-990-3776. I want one thing about either the Packers or the Brewers. Generally, the Brewers don't rank as highly as the Packers. They never do, actually. But
they're close to clinching the playoff spot, though.
I know, but that playoff spot isn't important. What's important? What's important is try to be first or second so you get a pass until the second round. Because this team, you want to be in a series with as many games as possible, given that they really don't have a starter. I mean, they don't have an ace. They got maybe, probably 3. But if you put them in a series of 5 games, they'll find a way to win 3. 7, they'll find a way to win 4. Now, you play 3 games, weird things could happen. So, yes. They are 2 games away from winning the division, but the desire, desperate, strong, is to get to be one of the first or second seed. Right now they're fighting a little bit behind the Dodgers and the Phillies, and they play the Phillies tonight. So, as far as the division, it's over. I mean, there are how many games left, and their magic number is what, 2? I mean, it's over. All we're doing is just fiddling and diddling. And then, but 1-800-990-3776. I'm curious if people call about the Brewers or they'll call about the Packers. And you only get one thing. You get one comment about the team or the game or whatever. My comment about the Brewers is simple, that while Pat Murphy gets a lot of credit, understandably so. Matt Arnold is the MVP. That's amazing. They have players nobody's heard of, and they get hurt, and then they bring other players in. There's no Christian Yelich. It was, I think Jim Gantner said this, anonymous, that you can't win without Yelich. They've done it without Yelich. They did it without their closer for half the season. That can only be done if you have an incredible performance by the general manager in terms of adding players. Adding players nobody'd ever heard of. And it's not like you have anything special to use to get those players. So, and I don't care. There's only so much a manager can do. You can't make the players better. They steal more bases, maybe a hit and run. But at some point in the future, it will show that maybe the players were better. They were just all very young. 1-800-990-3776. Jason Wilde at 5:15. So that's, to me, it's just incredible. And I believe they were scheduled, what did we say, Pebble, 75, 76 wins?
About 75.
Yes. That tells you, and I actually was in a golf tournament Monday that I saw Jim Gantner. And he said, yeah, I thought if the young kids did well, they could win 75, 77 games. It's been incredible. And it's done with talent. No manager can make players that much better. 1-800-990-3776. But that may not be your one comment about the Brewers. It used to be one of my original homerisms. No donkey ever won the Kentucky Derby. Murphy can't turn donkeys into thoroughbreds. So, as has been with Cheerio, still not throwing Cheerios out on the field. I guess I just assume that's going to fail. Brian McQuanigo, one thing. Is it going to be about the Brewers or is it going to be about the Packers? What do you say, Brian?
We're going Brewers.
All right.
I think it is the Brewers this year. Every year in baseball, it's not necessarily the best team with the best players. It's the team that can come together at the right time, get hot, and put it all together. And I think that this team, for whatever reason, they're motivated. They got some good talent. I think that this is actually the year that they can pull it off. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs, and I am hoping for a World Series run.
Yeah, it's a question of historic greatness. It's always going to be remembered as a surprise. What they do in the playoffs will determine the level of historic greatness. A World Series, and it would be the greatest championship in the history of sports in Wisconsin. And I know that's not going to be the case for everyone, because if you're a fan of one team more, then you're going to say that. But historic greatness, the greatest, most surprising, best ever world championship in the history of the state of Wisconsin if the Brewers pulled it off. Rocky, you're on 94.5 ESPN. You get one comment. Either it's going to be about the Brewers or the Packers, and that'll be based on which team you right now have more interest. Yes, Rocky.
Good afternoon, Homer. Thank God it's a walk year for Willie Adames, because he would not be putting up these numbers if he was still under contract for next year.
Oh, one of those last year performances.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the year Bill Hall had before they signed him to that ridiculous contract.
Wow. Now that's a long time ago. So, Willie Adames. I think they would like to sign him, but I'm not sure they can figure out a way to get it done. So you want to say, look at greatness, but realize part of this is what happens to players in the final year of their contract. All right. And
he'll never put these numbers up again.
Wow. And you say that's the result of not having a contract. If he had been signed to an extension, he would not be doing this well, is your opinion.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Thanks for the call. 1-800-990-3776. That's why I love asking. You get only one thing. Because there might not be anybody else in the state of Wisconsin, when given one thing, is going to do what Rocky said and talk about Adames in the final year of his contract. Fine. That's why one thing. What's going to be at the top of your list? For the Green Bay Packers, at the top of my list, the win over the Colts was historic and will be statistically remembered for 50 years. Not that they won, but how they won. And everybody will be asked. So make sure you have an answer. What the hell was going on? 53 carries? They haven't done that in 50 years. And with a coach and offensive coordinator who is 80% passing, well, they didn't believe in their quarterback enough to throw, and they ran the ball so well early in the game, they could afford to just keep running it. I'd like to know the shortest time for a game in NFL history in the last 20 years, like with the current number of commercials that they have. Because I think the Packers were at one point in the game, had a chance to maybe set the record. They could have been done by like 2:30. 1-800-990-3776. One comment about either the Brewers or the Packers. Clearly, interest in the Brewers, because generally it'd be like 10-0 to the Packers. Not so.
The shortest game in NFL history was 2 hours and 29 minutes between the San Diego Chargers and the Indianapolis Colts in 1996.
1996. Now, does that mean are they saying does that include TV commercials and stuff like that or not? I don't know.
I'm dig deeper into it here, but let me see.
Because I'm thinking like game starts at noon, 12:05. 1-800-990-3776. 2 votes for the Brewers, nothing for the Packers. This is you're having a chance to watch potentially the greatest championship in the history of the state of Wisconsin in terms of the surprise, expectations, I don't know that anybody's ever been close. Certainly never when the Packers of all their championships. I'm not counting the Old Testament ones in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. The Bucks have too. They were both dominant teams. Not necessarily the best, but dominant. I don't know. Wisconsin even had it. Marquette was fantastic. There's never been anything close to the Brewers if they could win the World Series. Getting to the World Series would be of some significance. They would be a much bigger surprise than the team that made it in 1982. I mean, they were one of the top teams in baseball and had been for, 3 or 4 years. That's what happens when it's been so long. Most of the people listening weren't even around. Just like you weren't around in 1978. Yeah, just remember the win over the Colts. All you need to remember is 1978. It's how long it had been since the Packers had a game with 53 carries. 1-800-990-3776. The Brewers are leading. Packers have been shut out. Jason Wilde is next, and then you'll get a chance again. You only get one comment, one issue, one thought after Jason Wilde, who's next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Backups right now, southbound on 41 from about Good Hope Road all the way down past Capitol Drive. Northbound's backing up too from Mayfair Road up to Capitol Drive. Southbound 43, we got some delays from before Hampton down to Capitol, and then again right through the Marquette interchange, right over the high-rise bridge with the northbound side slowing out of the Marquette all the way up past Fond du Lac Avenue. Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Visit jamesimaging.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mainly clear, patchy fog with a low of 60 at the lakefront, 55 inland. Tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, a high of 78. Weather is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Wilde and Tausch.
Did you get nervous as a player, first of all, before matchups with Bruce Irvin or whatever it might have been?
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
He's such a jerk, isn't he? He just can't help himself. He's got perfect kids. They eat all of their vegetables and everything else. And nothing, but Jason loves to throw pot shots whenever he can. Have you noticed that about him?
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Tailgating is back, Wisconsin. Have you ever wondered how tailgating started? One theory is that it started during the first college football game in 1869, as spectators spent their pregame ritual grilling sausages at, of all places, the tail end of a horse. Another is that tailgating started in 1919 during the first Green Bay football season. Fans backed up their pickups to the field, folded down their tailgates for seating, and served food and beverages. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Since 1960, we've been the place to stock up for all your tailgate rituals. With over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,500 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines, Discount Liquor is your one-stop tailgate shop. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Gear up for October baseball. Brewers postseason tickets go on sale on September 20th. Clear your schedule, claim your spot, and be here for a Brewers postseason run you don't want to miss at Brewers.com.
Are you looking for a reliable ride? I've got you covered. It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. I use AccuTrans Group for my private transportation needs during the college football season. AccuTrans is a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. From corporate travel and weddings to group events, AccuTrans Group caters to every occasion. Booking is easy, safe, and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to get a quote or to book a reservation today for reliable and safe transportation.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff. We like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated and uncompromising. Like an award-winning men's grooming experience from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Open 7 days a week, even Sundays. Walk in anytime, and before you know it, our talented stylist will bring you back to a simpler time. A time when you were handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Everybody on the planet Earth should get information about the Green Bay Packers from Jason Wilde every day of the year. We don't do our part as well as we used to, but he's still on like a million times. He gave you all the information. I think you can look it up somewhere on YouTube. Good evening, Jason.
Well, good evening, Stephen. How are you?
I'm fine. All right, have you moved on, or are you still focusing on the historic nature, 1978, of the Green Bay Packers went over the Colts?
No, I've moved on, and so have the Packers, and so has Matt LaFleur. I need to track down the full audio clip of me asking him yesterday about this. But, you know, the NFL, I used this in a story for the State Journal, and I mentioned this to Gabe and Chewy this morning. Like, the NFL has the 24-hour rule. And when LaFleur talked yesterday, it was shortly after 3 o'clock, and the game had ended at like 2:55 on Sunday. So the 24-hour rule had expired. So there was no living off the awesomeness of that game plan and the execution of it. It was, hey, it's over. Now you got to figure out what the heck you're going to do against the Titans. And that's basically what I said to LaFleur. Great job. Now what? You know, and I think that is how he has to, and his coaching staff has to look at it too. They don't have a lot of time for a victory lap. You're right. It was historic. Like, not only the number of carries that their backs and Malik Willis had, but more importantly, the production and the effectiveness of a game plan when everyone in the building knew they wanted to run the football, including the Indianapolis Colts and defensive coordinator Gus Bradley. And it was almost as if during that first half they were absolutely powerless to do anything about it. And that is when a great game plan meets great execution. And that's what happened. But it's over. And frankly, this is an even greater test because now all that motion and fakes and misdirection, that's all on film now. So now what are you going to do for an encore? Because you know the Titans are sitting there. I mean, they've got a head coach in Brian Callahan who got after Will Levis with a what the blank are you doing?
I saw that, yes.
And you're better than that, basically get your you-know-what together. And so, you know he's getting up in front of the room with that team going, there is no blanket way we are allowing these guys to run for 261 yards against us. If we shut their run game down, we don't think Malik can beat us. That's why we traded him, right? I mean, that's the kind of motivational speech that's going to be given on Wednesday when the Titans players reconvene at their facility.
Yeah, well, no, Packers can just do it again, try it again. Whatever motion you did, how much apart that was, you just change that stuff.
Well, you can certainly try to change it. But it doesn't mean that making adjustments to it or reusing some of it, repurposing some of it won't work. But it also means it doesn't necessarily mean it will work, right? Like it very rarely, even the great offensive, defensive coaches, even the great ones aren't able to put together a game plan that works to the degree that did. Like that is very rare to have something work that brilliantly. And do not make a mistake on this. It was exquisite and was well executed, and they deserve. I'm not saying they don't deserve all the praise that I gave them and many others did. They do, but they will be the ones who tell you, "Hey, all right, that was great. It's over," and we don't know how much of this will work against Tennessee, which, by the way, Tennessee's 0-2. They lost both games by scores of 24-17. They had punts blocked in each of the two games. Like, they could just as easily be 2-0, and their defense is no slouch. So I would be very surprised if the Packers are able to replicate or approximate what they did running the football, and that means that Malik Willis is going to have to do more than he was asked to do on Sunday, and when they ask him to do more, will he be up to the task if he starts? Because we still have to leave at least room for the possibility that it's Jordan Love on Sunday.
That was going to be my follow-up question because you nailed it this last week, and I don't know if you have any early thoughts. I certainly don't believe in waiting because you should wait. No, if he can play, play. But what are your...
Yeah,
if he was that close, if they were legit and honest in saying he was that close, then he should be playing this week, right?
Yeah, again, I don't know. I have not talked to Jordan. I have talked to other people, but I have not talked to Jordan. Now, I do think that Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre before him, when they had their most troublesome leg injuries, right? Like Favre had the one ankle injury where his ankle was purple and he couldn't walk. He had another injury in like 2000 or 2001 where he had a similar issue. Obviously, we know in Rodgers' case, he had the shoulder injury that he was able to play through as a first-year starter in 2008, and he had to go down to the Hudson Center and prove to Doc that he could throw the football even with the pain he was in, and ibuprofen because he wouldn't take a pain-killing shot in his throwing shoulder. But when he had the calf injury in 2014, when he had the broken the tibial plateau fracture in his knee in 2018, and an MCL, I believe, with that injury, he had the ability and he had enough experience to be able to say, no, I'm playing through this. And he convinced Doc to let him do so. I don't think Jordan, as with only 1 year plus one game as a starter, he started 20 games that counted in his NFL career. I don't think he has enough of that. So whether it's him, whether it's his agents, whether it's the medical staff, whether it's LaFleur, I don't know. But I do think that there are probably people who are trying to give him protect you from yourself advice. My personal understanding, and again, Rob has more information than I do on this one, but my personal understanding was he was out for the Colts, out for the Titans, maybe for the Vikings, and I don't want to go so far as to say probably for the Rams, but much more likely for the Rams. That was kind of the spectrum. No on the Titans for sure, and what I had been told was no on the Colts for sure, and what I had been told was no on the Titans too. So, and I want to add one other thing. LaFleur did say yesterday when we were talking about Love and the idea of him playing, he was trying to duck everything by saying he hadn't talked to the medical staff. But I asked him a very narrow question of, regardless of what the medical staff thinks, are you going to take the same approach to practice all week long of Malik getting the reps, and then if Jordan is ready on Sunday, even though he didn't get reps in practice, playing him? And LaFleur made a very clear point that he believes that because it would be 2 full weeks, that Jordan would need to practice in order to play on Sunday. And whether he practices tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, based on that, he'd certainly have to practice by Thursday. When he mentions 2 weeks, you can't just then practice one day and be okay, right?
Well, maybe. Again, he wasn't very specific. That was the most useful information on the Jordan Love front that we actually achieved from yesterday's press conference. He was good on some other stuff, but the fact that he intentionally avoided the medical staff so that way he didn't have to lie to us, and he could just say I didn't talk to them. I'm not a huge fan of that approach personally, but it worked yesterday at least for him.
Well, he could use it all week if he wants. I mean, based on what you said, he's not going to play. And whatever somebody told somebody, then that couldn't have been the case given the scenario that you present.
No. In fair, I know how good Rob is.
All right.
And so do you. And so I have no doubt that what he told Jen, Gabe, and Chewy yesterday about how this wasn't a charade, I have no doubt that whoever he talked to was one of the people that believed he could play. Now, I don't know if that's Jordan. I don't know who that is. But he wouldn't suggest that if there wasn't a legitimate person on the inside who either felt like he could play or felt like he should play. And that doesn't mean that everybody thinks he should play. And I think that's probably where it gets a little murkier.
All right. I'm in your camp. You didn't ask me to join your camp. I don't even know that you created a camp, but
I love a good camp.
I now believe that he is, based on your information, that he is not going to play against the Tennessee Titans. So who on the defense deserves credit for playing really well to this point?
Well, certainly Xavier McKinney does. I mean, there's no two ways about that, right? I mean, we all recognize that he's looked really good. He's intercepted a ball in each of the first two games. He's a guy that clearly has picked up this defense, is leading this defense. But that's not to say that the defense doesn't have issues, right? I mean, look, somebody asked me about this earlier today. I think it was John on the text line in Milwaukee when I was doing the show, or when I was talking with Gabe and Chew, that enough of the Quay Walker hate. And I don't hate Quay Walker by any means. I still love his potential. I still love his size, his speed, and his athleticism. But
he's a complicated player. How about that?
Well, no, because I don't know if he is. Like, I think part of the issue is that he's best when things are uncomplicated. He said that himself. He doesn't want to have to read and react. He wants to attack. And him and Devontae Wyatt, both out of the Georgia program, are kind of both that way. I would say this, it's interesting.
So how would you say he'd play? What grade would you give Quay Walker to this point of the season?
I don't, call Bob McGinn. He can give out footballs. My point is,
has he played well, really well? No grade.
Just... He's played okay.
Okay, all right,
right.
Good.
Like he dropped the pick. I think the biggest issue is he's kind of got washed around a little bit in the run game, where either he's not in the right spot or he takes like a circuitous route to the right spot, and by the time he gets there, he's too late. And I'm not saying that's on every play, obviously.
But hasn't he always been like that from the time he first joined the Packers?
But in fairness to him, in Joe Barry's defense, I don't think that that's an accurate depiction of what he can become. Like, I believe the people that I talked to when they made the switch to Jeff Hafley that say that this will be a much better fit for Quay, and you'll see him blossom. It did not happen in the first two games, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So, the problem for him, like A.J. Hawk before him, is that he is a linebacker drafted in the first round, not as high as A.J., but you got to do more than make tackles. You have to make splash plays. You have to force fumbles. You have to intercept passes. You have to get sacks. And he's really done almost none of that, other than the pick six in Chicago in the opener a year ago. Like, and that was the thing with A.J. Hawk. I mean, he didn't have many of those plays either. And if you're Blake Martinez and you're a fourth-round pick and a tackle accumulator, people aren't as critical of you because, hey, he's a fourth-round pick. I never really expected him to be, Roquan Smith or one of the great inside linebackers that they have in, San Francisco or whatever else. So in fairness to him, I think he still deserves some more time in this system to show that once he's fully comfortable, he can be effective in it. But through 2 games, you were hoping for more. And I don't think that that's an unreasonable thing. I mean, before Sunday's game, when we talked to Quay on Thursday or Friday, he admitted he needed to do more and that he was unhappy with how he played in Brazil. So I don't think that's a harsh criticism of him.
Do you feel like you know much more about the Packers now after 2 regular season games?
I think I have a better understanding of them, but no, I don't. I mean, I just don't think. I don't think 2 games, one in which inexplicably they faced a team that had no clue how to stop their run game until the second half. Like I am blown away that they had all week. And Brian Bulaga, the doctor of football, as you like to call him, former Iowa student. I guess can I call him an alum?
Yes, you can.
I know, I'm going to, but you do get after him for his academic.
Yeah, he should get his damn degree. Yes.
Yes, I'm aware. He went to the School of Hard Knocks, but he made a really good point about how the Packers' personnel groupings, which was another part of why they were effective. They were running out of some personnel groupings where it would have been hard to put 5 down linemen on the field and say, we're not letting you run on us. So in fairness to the Colts, that was a factor. But again, you can't give up 213 rushing yards in the first week of the season and be the worst in the league, and then turn around and give up 237 in the first half of the very next game. I mean, I'm surprised Gus Bradley, despite everything he's accomplished during his coaching career, frankly, didn't get fired. I am surprised that did not get him fired.
I don't know that you can ask somebody off the record just for an explanation. I mean, it happened, and how or why could it have happened, or did it happen? I mean, do you think you're not going to get the answers publicly?
Definitely not. Definitely not. And look, in fairness, I'm sure that Gus Bradley, if he was talking to us with a Coors Light on the table, who would say, hey, we should have adjusted quicker and said, I don't care if we have to have a linebacker covering Jaden Reed. We don't think that Malik Willis can make all the throws. We think he's more likely to make a mistake. So we're going to get after the run and dare them to throw it and see if he can do it. Because if you think back to one of Joe Barry's most interesting moments as a defensive coordinator himself, was a Thursday night game in 2022 when the Titans came in here with Derrick Henry, and basically the Packers said, we're not letting Derrick Henry run over us like a Mack truck. We are going to stop the run. And if Ryan Tannehill can beat us, we're going to try and stop that, but if he beats us, he beats us. And Ryan Tannehill, remember, he finished that night with 4 incompletions. He was 29 to 33 or something ridiculous for 334 yards. I think he threw 3 touchdowns, no picks. They said, hey, we're going to dare Tannehill to beat us, and he beat him. And maybe Malik Willis would have been able to do that, but I would be skeptical of that. So from a defensive perspective, I have a very, very, very hard time believing that the Titans will not come into this game saying, if Malik Willis is starting, damn the torpedoes, we're going to stop the run, and we're going to make him beat us.
Anything that you're looking at or feel like needs to be addressed regarding the Packers but gets very little attention given the injury to Jordan Love and the historic running game?
Yeah, I mean, look, if Jordan Love was healthy and they'd have played a regular game on Sunday, we'd be talking about Jaden Reed still. He got short-shrifted in the aftermath of Brazil. I do think the kicker situation is really interesting. LaFleur saying when Domofsky asked him about how patient he's willing to be with the kicker, and him saying, that's a Goody question, but from my perspective, I'm willing to be pretty patient. He really likes what Narveson brings to the table in terms of both his power and his personality and attitude and all that good stuff. So, The problem is, and I saw the Giants signed Greg Joseph today. I saw Anders Carlson was in for a workout with somebody, maybe Cleveland, Washington.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, when you're 6 for 8 in the first 2 games, you don't have to be a great mathematician to recognize that that's 75%, and that's not good enough.
And you need to know, I think at 50-yard field goals, they're like 52 for 56. I mean, people argue with me. This is a joke. And to have someone who is an automatic is not good enough anymore. I guess that for Bulaga, it's got to get to be 75% at 60 yards. But a 50-yard field goal is nothing now. A 40-yard, what you have to do, I think, is subtract 10 yards to every field goal. When it's 44, think of it as 34, because that's kind of what the numbers are like. What do you think of that, Club? Subtract 10 yards to understand the difficulty of those field goals today, in today's game.
Certainly, I'm not joining your club, but certainly Chester Markole and Jan Stenerud were up against a totally different kicking game than the guys today. How about that?
That's good. But I mean, I know I heard that right. They're scoring more points with field goals now than touchdowns, I think, to this point, for the first time ever in 2 weeks. Do you believe it's too easy to kick a field goal now? Yes or no?
So you think they should narrow the goalpost?
They got to change something. Yes, that's what I would do.
No, I'm sorry. If you can kick 50-yard field goals that accurately, I think you should keep being allowed to do it, because I don't think you appreciate how ridiculously hard that really is until you do that camera angle from behind them, and you see how incredibly far they have to kick it accurately. So kudos to them for being able to do that. I do not think we should make their jobs hard.
Just think of them as golfers. You know how amazing golfers are. It's because it's for a golfer.
They are amazing.
It's easy.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer, take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. Back to you. You get one comment. 1-800-990-3776. You going Packers or you going Brewers? Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 41. We got some backups from before Appleton Avenue all the way down to about Capitol Drive. We got some debris in the roadway on the ramp from Hampton to southbound 41, and more debris on 41 southbound at Watertown Plank Road, and that one has the left lane blocked, so be careful with that. We've got southbound 43 hitting the brakes from before Hampton down to Capitol Drive, then back on the brakes right about at North Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high rise. The northbound side's also backed up out of the Marquette up past Fond du Lac Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mainly clear and patchy fog. A low of 60 at the lakefront, 55 inland. Tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, high of 78. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Go to the head of the class on your next vehicle purchase exclusively at the Kunis Auto Group's Back to School sales event.
Good morning, class.
Expect a straight A passing grade when you add up the savings on your next vehicle from the automotive scholars at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealerships. America's best-selling cars, trucks, and SUVs from both Buick and GMC, all marked down with September back-to-school discounts and savings. We're also offering incredible back-to-school discounts on our entire inventory of select pre-owned vehicles. Choose from over 1,500 vehicles on lot and online. While online, check out dozens of back-to-school service specials on everything from brakes, tires to oil changes. Plus, with a test driver purchase each week in September, 4 lucky winners will win free gas for a year. All at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealerships in both Oak Creek and Greenfield. It's the Kunis Auto Group's exclusive September back-to-school sales event going on now. For additional event info, go to shopkunis.com.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows. It's ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Wallace. Right now at Universal Windows Direct, get 0% financing for 60 months, restrictions apply. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to uwd.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Rick Papandrea is joining me. How special is it for you being able to watch people see their quality of life return?
There's no doubt that the efficiency is great for everybody. It's very rewarding as a surgeon to take care of somebody and see them get better. But to have them come in and do it in a seamless fashion is really exciting. One case comes to mind. We had a young girl who was doing some cartwheels, and she came in with a broken elbow, and everything lined up, maybe more so than even is typical. She needed special care. She needed her elbow fixed with a very particular fracture that is difficult to fix. And not only is it difficult to fix, but it can be somewhat complicated by stiffness. So with my specialty of my background, I do a lot of elbow arthroscopy, which isn't very common. And we had her in the operating room later that day where I was able to arthroscopically reduce and fix her elbow fracture. And she was back to a normal kid about 2 months later.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
1-800-990-3776. You get one thought on either the Brewers or the Packers. Not one for the Brewers, not one for the Packers yet. 1-800-990-3776. Time to tell you how far away. American Place Casino. A little more than a half hour south of Franklin. Yeah, if you want to know 38 minutes exactly. Located in Lake County, Illinois. American Place Casino. Great table games, great slot machines. Got a sports book, great food, North Shore steaks and seafood. Latest promotions, AmericanPlaceCasino.com. But I have not told you what you need to know and what I want to be known for regarding American Place Casino. Yeah, Homer, we know. A half hour south of Franklin. Actually, 38 minutes if you want to be exact. American Place Casino. A little more than a half hour south of Franklin. Located in Lake County, Illinois, but I can't finish with that. American Place Casino, a little more than a half hour south of Franklin. Fisco Auto Body, I talked about them before. You like them, and I tell you about them so you like me. Here's how it works. I tell you to go to Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Family business, owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. So by the time they're doing this stuff for you, they've been doing it so long. It's easy. That's how they're that good. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. And I tell you about them because then you go there and you're impressed. You got an auto body place forever. Hey, Homer, thanks. Yes, me talking about Fisco has helped my reputation. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco, to remember the name. 1-800-990-3776. If you're not aware, the odds makers do not yet believe in the Packers without their starting quarterback. They are now, after having been in the offseason a 3-point favorite over the Tennessee Titans, they are now 2.5-point underdogs. By the way, the numbers that I gave you on 50-yard field goals was not entirely true, but it's pretty close. For the first time ever, the NFL is better or right at 90% on 50-yard field goals. 90%.
Yeah, kickers are 35 of 37 on 50-plus yard field goals this season. The only two have been missed by Justin Tucker.
Yeah, no, they're 35 of 37, so they're 35 of 39. Other than Tucker, he's 0 for 2.
Yes.
I think the rest of the league is 35 of 37. Correct. So that 35 of 39, that's 90%. Well, I shouldn't even allow you to talk about the Packers or the Brewers. Like, this is literally, American football has become European football. Kickers should not be that. It's too easy. I haven't been able to convince Brian Bulaga. Explain to me how that's not too easy. 90% from 50 yards. You don't even have to move the ball as far in order to score points. I believe it is now. And so, again, if you don't think it is now, yes, they need to change something immediately. Just like they did for extra points. Why did they change extra points?
They're too easy.
Too easy. You think 90%. The NFL 90% they're making of 50-yard field goals. Is that too easy? Of course it's too easy. 50-yard field goals? You only have to get to like the 37-yard line. By the way, I don't know if anybody else has noticed. It seems to me that the Packers, I always thought it was 13 yards. Like it was like 7, or not 13 yards, but like 7 yards from the line of scrimmage where you would kick the field goal. It seems to me like the Packers are more like 8 yards with their current kicker. I haven't checked it that closely. It just seems like they're at the 37 and the field goal is like the 45. I always thought it was just 7 yards. 1-800-990-3776. I'm not sure I even want your opinion. Like 90% is too easy. 90% making 50-yard field goals is too easy. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about all the other options. I just moved the uprights closer together. And I would assume that would change the percentage. You can't keep moving it back like they do with the extra point. Yeah, make that Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. I don't even want your opinion. I just want you to agree that I'm right. 90% of the field goals have bdon't made. 50 yards or more. This isn't just 50 yards, right? It's over 50, right?
It's 50 plus, yeah.
50 plus, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if then 60 plus would be different. Have there even been a 60-yard plus? So it's not, we don't even know what the average is. You don't think that's too easy? Come on. 1-800-990-3776. Just say, Homer, you're right again. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Milwaukee fans, your perfect sports day is here, and it's Thursday, September 26th at Magoo's on the Mound. Come early to watch baseball as Milwaukee takes on Pittsburgh at 11:35, and stay for 94.5 ESPN's live broadcast of Kyle Brust and Nortman from 2 to 5 p.m. Enjoy amazing food, great drink specials, and more. From baseball postseason and football game day specials to their famous Friday night fish fry and exciting live music series coming soon. Magoo's on the Mound is the place to be this fall. Visit magoos.biz for information on events and specials.
Luther Gray is Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales at the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. Luther, tell us about the orchestra's mission.
We provide over 135 shows a year, classical concerts, pop concerts, family and educational concerts, and also we do many performances throughout the state as well.
And James Imaging Systems provides their expertise to support the symphony.
Yes, James Imaging is there. It makes it so much easier for us, and they help keep us on schedule.
Luther, it seems that with captivating audiences with acclaimed musical performances, many would like an opportunity to get involved.
That is correct. Attending the concerts is great, giving is great, but the volunteerism is wonderful as well. We need all of that to be a successful, thriving orchestra.
What's the first step people can take to ensure that long-term success?
They can go to our website at mso.org.
That's mso.org. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And for most all of us, here's the reality. Life happens. But when those moments occur, two words come to mind. Common sense. For nearly 90 years, Great Midwest Bank has made the home buying, building, renovation, and refinancing process straightforward, while too many others overthink and overdo. Our portfolio loans are GMB's not-so-best-kept secret. Apply online at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Time is running out on the Brewers regular season. Hurry up and catch the crew battle the Diamondbacks September 20th through the 22nd for College Night and a Brewers Puffy Vest giveaway on the 21st. Get your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
Hey sports fans, looking to level up your next private event? V Private Bar Services is your game changer. Move beyond the ordinary. V Private Bar Services crafts custom cocktails tailored to your brand and your guests' taste. Imagine a bar experience that's as unique as your business. Our expert mixologists will create a memorable experience that your clients and team will rave about. From signature cocktails to full-service bars, we've got you covered. Be the MVP of your next event. Visit vprivatebar.com/MVP to book today.
Getting 10% back is easy at Fleet Farm. For a limited time only, Fleet Rewards members can earn 10% back in-store and online. Spend $50, get $5 back in rewards. No rebates, no coupons, no hassles. Plus, Fleet Rewards membership is free. So if you're not signed up yet, now's the time. Then get shopping to earn 10% back on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm. Some exclusions apply. Not valid at Ankeny and Waukee, Iowa stores.
Cheer on your UW Whitewater Warhawks as they return home to face Mary Hardin Baylor this Saturday at Perkins Stadium. These perennial Division III football national powers kick off at 1 p.m. Be there for this huge non-conference matchup on Alumni Day in Whitewater. Get tickets now at uwwsports.com or the day of. Experience national championship level college football this Saturday when the Warhawks welcome in the Crusaders at 1 p.m. Warhawk football powered by tradition.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
1978. That's the last time the Packers had 53 rushes like they did against the Colts. And 90% of the field goals over 50 yards are being made, which tells you, yes, the Packers still have an issue as a field goal kicker because of how easy it is. There's a good chance you're in a budget. We all are. She wants a diamond. I can help you out. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it, too. They offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Talk to them about natural, lab-grown. They got it all figured out. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds, $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend? Other places, they don't get it. $5,000. Who knows the numbers they have? Just make sure you go to Robert Hack Diamonds. They'll make you worth it. And they also offer repair services and cash for your old gold. Before you do anything, call Robert Hack Diamonds or visit roberthackdiamonds.com. roberthackdiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield. 1-800-990-3776. Brewers or Packers and kicking field goals shouldn't be that much a part of American football. Do you have a car, boat, ATV, or motorcycle taking up spaces in storage or your garage? Consider donating it to Rawhide Youth Services. Co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Cherry Starr. I think he donated his winning car when he was MVP of the Super Bowl. And that's how they started considering a car, boat, ATV, or motorcycle. Do what the Stars did. Rawhide is a faith-based nonprofit that helps thousands of youth every year, many right here in Milwaukee, overcome trauma, suicidal thoughts, and live better lives. They need vehicle donations to support their mission of helping hurting youth transform their future, and they've been using vehicles since way back in 1965. Your vehicle donation can make a difference. Visit rawhide.org/donate and learn how you can help today. 1-800-990-3776. The Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, which speaks to the honesty of Brewer fans. Will the Brewers win the World Series? 22% believe they will win the World Series. Understandably so. They're still a long shot. That might be close to what the odds makers are. All right. Yes, there's discussion, and everybody's going to be happy that they win the division. That's pretty much over. What you need to know is there are 12 games left, and you want to be a 1 or a 2 seed because then you get a bye the first round, and the other teams have to play the wild cards, and it's all kind of mess. And you make it all the way to the second round, to me the second round, where you play best of 5. I guess it's the divisional round. 12 games left. Philadelphia at 90. The Dodgers at 89 as far as wins, and the Brewers at 87. So they're 2 games back. All you got to do is finish first or second, because that's the way you get a bye in the first round. And then I don't know how anybody could really care who you play. So Brewers playing Philadelphia. Every time you play, it's a huge game, and that's what's going on. Yes, the number for winning the division is 2, and it's just, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but it's not very important because it's a given. They're going to win the division. Just a question of what day. Now, are they going to get a 1 or 2 seed? That could be decided all the way to the end of the season. And I don't have an answer. I'm curious to see what Murphy says about, so how much do you play? What do you do with your team in order to try to get the 1st or 2nd seed? Or do you try to get your team ready for the playoffs? You get some time off if you're a 1 or 2 seed. But that's the 2, the number, I think, isn't that the magic number of 2?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, it just doesn't mean anything. You can, if you want to celebrate them winning the division, you can start now. It's just a question of what day. But this is huge. 12 games left. Philadelphia has 90 wins. The Dodgers have 89, and the Brewers have 87. So, playing Philadelphia tonight, huge. Did we put up the question about is it too easy to make a field goal?
We did not.
We did not. I'm just disappointed in football fans. Field goals aren't supposed to be that important. It's too easy. I couldn't even convince Jason Wilde. Brian Bulaga only wants a change when they're 75% for more than 60 yards. The kicking can't and shouldn't be that important. And it is. Now, maybe it's not as important as it used to be because everybody's the same. Everybody makes all their kicks. So, but it's clearly changed the game. Who wouldn't? You get it's almost like get the team to the 33-yard line. I don't have to get any closer than the 33, maybe the 35, and I got 3 points. Just wrong. Will they change it? Well, we know one thing they're going to do. They're going to change the kickoff. Kickoff is a mess. They should change it now. That if you kick the ball into the end zone, the offensive team gets it not at the 30 but the 35. I don't know if you can change the rule in the middle of the season. I don't know that it's like NASCAR. By the way, we have ESPN National, then volleyball at 6:30.
Wisconsin Marquette.
Yeah. Field goals shouldn't be that easy or that important. But anyway, keep track of the numbers. Baseball numbers did count. Philly 90, Dodgers 89, Brewers 87. You want to be one of the top 2. Volleyball, not next, but soon.
Cell phone